It happened in 3 seconds. One moment. Wealth echoed around him. Leather creaking, champagne clinking, voices whispering 7-figure numbers. The next, a finger jabbed inches from his chest. Listen, boy, get me someone who actually belongs here. The glass walls of Luminaire Tesla's showroom held the moment like a photograph. Outside, rows of electric vehicles gleamed in perfect formation. Model S sedans, Model X SUVs, and in the back corner, a matte black CYBERTRUCK that hadn't sold in 73 days despite 200 names on the waiting list. Inside, a man in a crisp white shirt and charcoal slacks stood perfectly still, his hands calm at his sides, his face betraying nothing. Not when the insult landed, not when expensive bourbon breath hit his face, not even when the tall man in the tailored suit stepped closer, violating every boundary of personal space and professional conduct. Marcus Chen had learned long ago that silence could cut deeper than any response. He'd learned it in courtrooms where one wrong word cost millions, in boardrooms where staying quiet meant staying employed, in 100 small encounters where responding to racism meant becoming the problem instead of the victim. So he did what he always did. He stayed calm, calculated the cost, and let the other person hang themselves with their own rope. The man before him was Theodore Ashford III, 6'3", silver hair swept back like old money, a Rolex that cost more than most people earned in 6 months. His wife Cynthia stood 2 steps behind, cream Chanel suit and diamond bracelet catching afternoon light, her face already flushing pink with second-hand embarrassment. They'd walked in 20 minutes ago, Theodore's voice booming about finally upgrading to something befitting my portfolio. 2 younger salespeople, both white, had approached and been waved away like servants. "Not you," Theodore had said each time, scanning the showroom until his eyes landed on Marcus. Him. Marcus had approached with professional warmth. "Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Luminaire. I'm Marcus Chen, senior sales consultant. How can I help you today?" Theodore's face had twisted into something between confusion and disgust. "Marcus Chen? What kind of name is that for someone who looks like you?" The question hung ugly in the air. "Let me guess. They give you a respectable name to hide what you really are? Make the diversity hire sound legitimate?" The showroom hadn't gone silent. That was the thing about places where money lived. They never went silent when they should. Conversations continued in hushed tones. A couple debated paint colors. Someone typed at a computer. Only Cynthia froze, her hand moving to her throat. Marcus kept his voice warm, measured. "I assure you I'm qualified to assist. Were you interested in the Model S Plaid? Or, I asked for someone who belongs here." Theodore stepped closer, his finger rising to point. "Not some affirmative action experiment, playing dress-up. I'm about to spend $200,000. I want a real salesperson." His eyes traveled up and down Marcus's body like an appraisal. White, competent, not whatever charity case they hired to fill a quota. Across the showroom, Brandon, 6 months out of college, still learning how to close sales, watched from behind a Model 3 display. His face had gone pale. Near the coffee station, an older couple exchanged uncomfortable glances. Everyone heard it. Nobody moved. Marcus recognized Theodore's type immediately. Old money that had never been told no. Racism so casual it didn't even recognize itself. Just preference, just standards, just the way things are. In his previous life, Marcus had defended men like Theodore in discrimination lawsuits. Knew exactly how much these words were worth in court. Knew exactly how to let someone dig their own grave. "I understand your concerns, Mr. Ashford." Marcus's tone stayed professional. "Perhaps we should start with what brought you in. The plaid has. Did you just ignore everything I said?" Theodore's volume rose, drawing more eyes. "My family has been doing business in this city since before your," he caught himself, but the word hung there anyway, unspoken but deafening. "Theodore." Cynthia's voice came quiet, pleading. "Maybe we should just go." "Not now." He didn't look at her. His eyes stayed locked on Marcus, searching for cracks, for submission, for the satisfaction of watching someone break. "I want someone else. Anyone else. Preferably someone who earned their position, instead of getting it through a handout." Behind them, Brandon pulled out his phone, hand shaking slightly as he started recording. The older couple by the coffee station stopped pretending to read brochures. Marcus glanced past Theodore toward the window. The matte black CYBERTRUCK sat in its usual spot, angular and aggressive like a geometric nightmare. Nobody wanted it. Too expensive. Too strange. 73 days of dust and dealer frustration. Price tag, $187,490. Mr. Ashford, Marcus said, that same calm in his voice, I appreciate your candor. However, I'm the senior consultant available, and I'm more than capable. More than capable? Theodore's laugh was sharp. You can't even afford these cars. I can see it in your cheap watch, your off-the-rack shirt, the way you stand like you're grateful just to be allowed in the building. He leaned in, breath sour. You probably take the bus here. Probably rent some apartment in a neighborhood I wouldn't drive through with my doors locked. Have you ever watched someone destroy their own life one sentence at a time, completely unaware every word is being recorded in 4K? Before we continue, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. And if you believe respect should never depend on skin color or bank account size, hit that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. Marcus had been here before. Different suits, different buildings, different versions of Theodore. The first time had been in 3rd grade. A teacher who kept forgetting his name, always calling him Marcus Washington, Marcus Johnson. Any black last name except the Chinese one his mother had given him when she'd married his father. The most recent had been 3 months ago, a customer demanding to see his real ID because Chen doesn't match your face. Each time, he'd calculated the cost. Get angry, lose the sale, maybe lose a job. Get loud, become the problem. Walk away, let them win. This time felt different. This time, Theodore had made it personal in a way that couldn't be uncalculated. Tell you what, Theodore continued, pulling out his phone. I'm calling your manager. What's his name? He didn't wait for an answer, already scrolling. Here we go. Regional Director Michael Patterson. Now there's a name that inspires confidence. Let's see if he knows his diversity experiment is costing him a 6-figure sale. Cynthia touched his arm. Theodore, please. This is... What's embarrassing, Theodore interrupted, shaking her off, is watching companies bend over backward pretend. He gestured vaguely at Marcus. Like this is the same as actual qualifications. Near the entrance, Brandon's recording captured everything. The older couple had moved closer. Another salesperson stood frozen by the accessories display. This was the moment where most people broke. Marcus knew. Where humiliation crushed whatever composure you built. Where you either exploded or collapsed. Marcus did neither. Mr. Ashford... His voice stayed level. Before you make that call, I want to be clear about what you're saying. You're refusing service from me specifically because of my race. You believe I was hired solely due to affirmative action rather than qualifications. Is that accurate? Theodore's smile turned predatory. Finally, yes, exactly. Now give me someone who... And you're making this refusal despite not asking about my credentials, my sales record, or my knowledge. Your assessment is based entirely on my appearance. I'm talking about competence, Theodore snapped. If you're offended because I prefer standards, that's your problem. A throat cleared. Brandon had stepped closer, phone still raised. The older couple nodded to each other, something like approval crossing their faces. Marcus pulled out his own phone, fingers moving across the screen. I appreciate your clarity. It's rare someone articulates discrimination so thoroughly. Good. Now, however, something shifted in Marcus's tone. Theodore's ear, trained by privilege, didn't catch it, but Cynthia did. Her face went pale. I should inform you that 17 months ago, I didn't just become senior sales consultant. He turned his phone screen to Theodore. An email chain. Most recent sender, Michael Patterson. Subject line, Q3 projections, owner review needed. I also became principal owner. The words took 3 seconds to land. Theodore's brain processed them like corrupted code. Owner? What are you? Luminaire Tesla. This dealership. I own 68%. Marcus's voice stayed calm, but the warmth was gone. What replaced it was something Theodore had never heard directed at him. Absolute authority backed by absolute certainty. Michael Patterson, the regional director whose name inspires such confidence? He reports to me. Theodore's face went through stages. Smug to confused to comprehending to horrified. All in 3 seconds. Cynthia gasped. The showroom, which had never quite gone silent, went silent now. The cheap watch. Marcus continued. Casio F 91W, $12. I wear it because a Patek Philippe doesn't tell time better, and I prefer spending money on things that matter. The off-the-rack shirt is custom-made by a tailor in Seoul. And that CYBERTRUCK. He gestured the window. The matte black one sitting 73 days because nobody wants to spend $200,000 on what looks like a PlayStation render? Mine. I drive it every day. Park it in the same spot so customers can see even the weird ones sell when the right buyer comes along. Theodore's mouth opened, closed. You can't. Brandon whispered something that sounded like, holy shit. The older couple smiled. Other salespeople had gathered now. Watch it with barely concealed satisfaction. Here's what happens now, Mr. Ashford. Marcus's voice dropped lower. You leave my dealership. Get in your 2019 Porsche Cayenne. Nice car, depreciating fast, and drive away. Don't call Michael Patterson, because he'll just forward it to me with a subject line that says, Owner's call, and we'll both laugh about it tomorrow morning. Now wait. I'm not finished. The words cut clean. You came into my business and made assumptions based on my skin. You said on camera, Marcus gestured to the ceiling-mounted security system, that I'm unqualified due to race. That I got this position through handouts. That's textbook discrimination. I spent 12 years as a corporate defense attorney. I know exactly what your words are worth in court, exactly what they're worth to your business associates, your club, your social circle. Theodore's eyes flicked to the window. The CYBERTRUCK he'd walked past without a glance, too focused on his own importance, now seemed to mock him from his corner. Cynthia grabbed Theodore's arm, gripped tight. We're leaving. Now. But Theodore's pride wouldn't let him run. You're threatening me? I'm giving you a gift. Marcus leaned forward slightly. The opportunity to walk out, learn from this, and become better. Because the alternative is sending today's footage to my attorney and exploring what your words mean under California's Unruh Civil Rights Act. The alternative is every business connection seeing viral video of you explaining how black people are charity cases. The alternative is watching your reputation die on social media while lawyers calculate what your discrimination costs in dollars. Brandon's phone was still recording. The older couple had their phones out now, too. 3 cameras, maybe 4. Theodore's hand trembled as he lowered his phone. You want to know what's truly embarrassing? Marcus's voice dropped to something almost gentle. Being so privileged you can't see your own racism. So comfortable you genuinely believe your prejudice is preference. Your discrimination is standards. But let me tell you what I see. He paused. A man who inherited money and called it earned. Who inherited status and called it deserved. Who inherited racism and called it tradition. Theodore said nothing. His jaw worked silently. Finally, Cynthia spoke. We're leaving. She pulled harder. Theodore, now. He let her drag him toward the door. But at the threshold, pride made one final stand. You think you won something? Marcus's expression didn't change. I think you came to buy a Tesla and left with something more valuable. Perspective. Whether you accept delivery is up to you. He paused. Doors always open, Mr. Ashford. Next time, try humility instead of hubris. Theodore left without another word. Cynthia half dragged him across the lot. Through the glass, Marcus watched them reach the Porsche. Watched Theodore sit motionless in the driver's seat, while Cynthia spoke urgently, hands gesturing. Watched them pull away, tires squealing slightly. The showroom stayed quiet another moment. Then Brandon approached, cautious. Marcus, I should have said something earlier. Marcus turned, authority softening back to warmth. You're learning, Brandon. We all are. Every day we choose between comfortable and right. He glanced at the phone still in Brandon's hand. You chose right today. That recording? Send it to my email, just in case Mr. Ashford has second thoughts. By evening, the story had spread through all 3 Tesla dealerships Marcus owned. By morning, it would be industry legend, the owner who looked like a salesperson, the black man who let a racist dig his own grave, the lesson taught without raising a single voice. The matte black CYBERTRUCK never did sell. Marcus kept it polished and perfect in that corner spot. He had a small plaque installed on the wall behind it. Most customers never noticed, but those who did found themselves reading the same sentence over. Worth is not inherited. Respect is not purchased. Character is earned. 3 weeks later, Marcus received a letter. Handwritten, not typed. The return address belonged to Cynthia Ashford. She wrote about filing for divorce, about their daughter's black boyfriend Theodore had refused to meet for 2 years, about watching Marcus stand there, calm and unbreakable, and finding permission to be brave herself. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She asked for the name of a good divorce attorney. Marcus forwarded it to his friend Rachel in family law with a note. Pro bono if needed. Some exits cost money. Some save lives. Money can buy you a Tesla, a Rolex, entry to exclusive clubs, an illusion of superiority. But it cannot buy the one thing that truly matters. The ability to see another human being's worth without a price tag. Respect isn't built on bank accounts. It's built on character. And character, unlike wealth, cannot be inherited. Only earned through the daily choice to treat people with dignity, regardless of the color of their skin. If you believe everyone deserves respect regardless of background, hit that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. Because some lessons need to be told over and over until they finally stick.